Japan Journal, the internet's #1 English language weekly online cybercast from Japan. Japan Journal with Mal Adams.
Rap About It with Mal Adams. Each week, Rap About It focuses on a key issue concerning American minorities. This series also explores current and topical news events in an effort to bring into sharper focus the implications of these events for the minority community. And now your host, Mal Adams.
You're listening to Japan Journal, the internet's #1 weekly English language online cybercast from Japan, Japan Journal, with yours truly, Mal Adams, here with my new guest, my sequentially, would be my young brother, the good brother Don Harris, who I've known of, and our paths have crossed because we emerged from Omaha, Nebraska. But this is kind of a reunion for us, and I had the pleasure of meeting him when I went back to Omaha to be inducted into the Omaha Press Club Hall of Fame as a journalist of excellence. That's a 52-year overnight success, you know. But I digress. Don Harris is a name in music that I'd like for you all to know more about. So, my brother, welcome to the program. I've been wanting to do this, and it just spontaneously, here we are, right?
Yes, and I've known of you for decades.
Okay.
And it's just funny how we just ran across each other that particular Sunday.
Right. But there was a reason for that. That wasn't altogether spontaneous. I was hoping to run into you. Somebody told me you were coming. I guess Norman Love mentioned you, and my nephew Mike Adams. And I said, man, I've been watching this brother. I know his history. And everybody said, he bad dude, man. He bad. So I said, well, I'm about bad dudes. You know, so let me see if I can catch up with him. And you came in and joined that jam session in the pavilion in the near north side where we all grew up and came about, right?
That's right.
Your camera Jimmy should be changing.
I know. I'm doing that. I don't know anything about
that. You comfortable? You all right?
I am. I'll be still.
So we are on the air, absolutely. We're not streaming, but this is being recorded for playback. But let me just say, man, you introduce yourself for me. I know you as a virtuoso musician and an intellect and a personality and you come in a long line of great artists who come out of Omaha, and that's part and parcel about what this series is. It's the Rap About episode of Japan Journal. And it's just an honor for me to have you and just spontaneous like this, because that's like jazz, you know. I'm a self-taught pianist, and I can dance through some chord progressions right now. I ain't got no real melody virtuosity in my right hand, but you can help me with all of that, you know what I'm saying? So, but I just had the pleasure of interviewing Preston Love Jr., whose father was an iconic musician coming out of Omaha. And so you are from the younger generation coming on, but experienced enough to shed some light and help educate my Japanese jazz wannabe listeners. So that's really what prompted this. I sent you a link of some young Japanese girls, which I'll insert later here. And you analyzed that for me. So first of all, let's take it in order. Born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska?
Born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska. When I was in college, running track at University of Nebraska in Omaha. But prior to that, I was with various groups, Man versus Man, and other groups in the area. And then I
know that band. Yeah, right. Okay. But what year at University of Nebraska at Omaha? Where'd you go to high school?
73, 74.
Where'd you go to high school?
Omaha Central.
So see, I'm your upperclassman. When did you graduate?
73. 1973. And then I went on the road with Rhythm Machine 75, 76, 77.
Name some of those members. Name some of the members in that band.
James Boone, Meredith Williams, Hopi Bronson.
Hopi? What? What?
Hopi.
Check this
Okay.
out. Let me. Hobie spent several years in Hokkaido, Japan, man,
What?
and left Japan because his mother was ailing, and I had to go back and did he pass away?
Hopi passed away
Yeah, I
some
remember.
years ago.
What a loss,
I,
man. What a genius of music,
I
man.
was the last one to see him in Omaha. We recorded. I went and picked him up from the Spalding Bar and brought him back to the studio that I had.
I know you did.
I'm like, Hopi, come on, man, it's getting late, right?
Well, talk about his. We're jumping around, but you mentioned that. That's why I asked you who was in the band. So do I know any of these? Well, go ahead, Hobie Bronson.
They're from Indianapolis, Indiana. Rhythm Machine is, oh, here I go again. The Rhythm Machine is from Indianapolis, Indiana, formerly the Highlighters. So the Highlighters is what Kevin Farrell.
So they're not Omaha based and bred.
Not Omaha based, not Rhythm Machine.
I see.
But when they came to Omaha, they spent a lot of time in Omaha. That's where I was in a band with Meredith Williams and Lois McMorris.
I just spoke a job. I'm losing my English, man. I reacted. I said, "Chotomaticolas." That means, hold on a minute. Forgive me, man. It's early Sunday for me. I'm a late bloomer on the weekend. You know, but Lady Mac, stop.
Lady Mac.
I just she is a collaborator to this show, man. She's gonna, oh man, she's gonna love saying this interview. Don't make me call her
Lady Mac.
Wow. You need to check her piece. I'll send you a link to her interview now. She's out there, man. She's something special. Yeah, so anyway, go ahead. I interrupted you.
She's gonna read your palm or something. She's out there.
Oh no, oh, definitely. All of that. Born with a veil over her face.
That's right, Lois. Lady Mac. I call her Lois because that's what I know her as.
Absolutely, but her stage name, Lady Mac, that's my sister, man. You know. So yeah, go ahead.
I played back in the day, heck, with LS Movement. Some I played with. I mean, all of them.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of opportunities. I actually played with Buddy Miles the very last time he played in Omaha.
Wait a minute. Was that at the auditorium?
That was at when he came to get his Hall of Fame award. I think it was the Quest Center.
It was 2007. He and I went over together in the Von Chapman's Black Music Hall of Fame. Okay. I went over.
I financed that in 2011. I was the last one to give a Hall of Fame. Vaughn came in the very last. He came in when it was happening, basically that night. He didn't know anything about what was going on, but I mean, it's his baby. And
well, you mentioned Buddy Miles. Last time I saw Buddy Miles, we were both being inducted into the Omaha Black Music Hall of Fame. He as a musical icon, and me as they had a category community leader. Vaughn just broke me off because of what I've done in media and whatnot. So he left the category. So Kathy Hughes and I, Marla Briscoe.
2005?
2007. 2007. Yeah. And
Buddy
was in a wheelchair, man. Buddy got ill and had to be hospitalized that night.
That night. He had to leave that night. When he got on the drums, he got back there on the drums, and man, after that, he was just done. He was like, we were scared for him.
No, wasn't Arnold Lucas.
Arnold's there.
Often comes to Japan with one of the top boy bands in Japan. He's the percussionist, man, and influencer. He's going to be on this series as well. So I'm reaching back and getting all my brothers who put their foot on the map, you know, in musically. Now, let's keep talking about 2007. As I was inducted, that was my last trip before this time I saw you. That was the last time I was in Omaha, man.
2007. I was back there on the soundboard in 2007.
What? Okay. Yes, so yeah, all those people I named, Kathy Hughes, Marlon Briscoe, I think John Beasley also was at that time in my class, and Buddy Miles, and Harold Dow, my mentor in the news game, was the MC, if you remember.
That's right. Absolutely.
And Harold Dow Harold and down, I kicked it. That was be one of the last times I spent time with him in Omaha. His family has since come and visited me in Japan. That's my brother, man. And you know, he's
Oh,
the one that hollered at me to get in the news. He said, "Man, they're looking for some more black folk because you know we were burning things down in the '68.
oh, that's right.
They killed Vivian Strong, and
Uh-huh.
and you know, Little Richard got hanged, so-called hanged himself in jail, and you know, all these kind of things were going on. A lot of repression going on because of the Black Panthers and because of
Yeah.
Martin Luther King was killed, Malcolm X got killed. That was a very pivotal time. And Omaha stood up and stood
Very
out.
troubled.
Yeah,
It was very tense.
yes, it
Uh,
was indeed. So of course they had to. There were no. I was the first black to anchor a regular newscast. Harold was the first black in Nebraska to appear on TV in the studio and in the field, and also co-anchoring and stuff. I had a regular broadcast a year later when I came on, but that's the history. Why I was inducted
wow.
just last year. But I'm speaking of the times in Omaha you were there. That's interesting. And you were on the board at that.
I was on the board then because Andre Davis was running all the video and all.
Okay.
And I had my recorder running simultaneously so that we'd have backup audio.
Awesome. See, so you're revealing yourself, and not only are you a performing artist, you're a producer.
A knob twister. But you know, that's when I kind of reconnected with Lester Abrams. And so me and Lester co-wrote something, and it was released by a guy out in the San Diego area. I'm thinking about redoing it. I wrote a tune with Lester.
Not minute by minute.
I wish I did, right?
I know you do. That's why I asked.
But you know, the funny thing about minute by minute, just a minute, I'm on a conference.
We live.
The funny thing about minute by minute is that Lester beat himself. Lester's production of What a Fool Believes is what stopped Minute by Minute from getting the award that would have propelled Lester into the stratosphere.
Explain that. What do you mean?
He lost to himself, but he lost as a writer. He arranged the song that beat him. It's just a funny thing.
Oh, I see. In the awards, what a Grammy?
In the Grammy.
Yeah, in the Grammy contest.
You beat yourself, man.
What? He beat himself out. That's crazy. I never heard the story. Yeah. So tell me again now. He arranged which song?
What a Fool Believes. Beat Minute by Minute.
And What a Fool Believes was by
Doobie Brothers. It was on the same project. So What a Fool Believes knocked him out. It gave him a harder road.
That's crazy. But a fascinating story. Who knew that? You know?
I don't know.
So backtrack. Central High School. Well, what neighborhood did you grow up in Omaha?
Oh, and what neighborhood do we all grow up in? I grew up off 25th Avenue in Cummings.
25th Avenue.
25th Avenue in Cummings. Actually, Herbie Rich and Billy Rich and Bobby Rich, Marcia Rich, they lived right across the street from us. So Buddy Miles would practice across the street when I was a kid.
Wait a minute, 25th, that would have been behind McDonald's.
It was two blocks from McDonald's.
Up the street.
McDonald's on 24th, 25th, 25th Avenue, up the hill.
Somebody I interviewed recently made the comparison. But you went to Central, you could have walked to Tech from there.
It was cold either way I walked.
Yeah, right. But we did. I went to Central too. But we would walk from Central, and the brothers would walk from Tech, and we'd all converge at McDonald's, man. You remember?
Sure.
And then I'd go straight down 24th.
That's why Creighton had to buy all that area to stop.
Yeah, they blocked all that nonsense, which I didn't realize till I left. I graduated in '67, but we were still convening, man. You know.
Yeah.
And it was nothing but love and fights.
I was actually at Tech in '67. Oh, there we go again. Sorry.
What doing? What do you mean? You were in Tech?
I was in junior high at Tech. I went to 7th and 8th grade.
Oh, okay, see, you not pick that neighborhood. I know it. That was so.
I would walk by. Bob Gibson had a house right on 26th incoming. That big, it looked like a mansion.
Okay.
And I would walk with Manuel Gibson. I don't even know what relative. I know he was some kind of Bob. You know, I never asked him because that's not something that I even thought of.
Sure. I kind of remember that house, man. Yeah.
Big. It was Robert Sperry was there.
Yeah, of course. Sure. Robert's there. Yeah. So you ran track. Did you play football?
No, I didn't want nobody to hit my legs, man.
So you were protecting your legs.
I was.
I
was in a band. I didn't want to go to the gig on, man. Here I go again.
Yeah, no problem. No, oh, really? So
I was fast, though.
What? Sprints or hurdles or what?
I was a sprint. I was the only one who ever ran I set a world record on that slow track at UNO. And few people know this. I ran a 5.960 on that slow track at UNO.
What?
I beat
that track had rocks in it. If I remember,
it was horrible. It was horrible.
It's my memory. So now, athletically, did you have was Don Benning there at the time, Coach Benning?
Don Benning was actually the counselor at Central when I was at Central.
No, I don't remember.
Yeah, he was a counselor. Yeah.
Okay, I knew he was
assistant principal or something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was gone. I didn't realize that. That's my big brother too. He's like Preston Love Jr., man. Don and my older brothers, 10 years my senior. My nephew Mike Adams, who joined you in that jam session. I posted that video.
Keyboard is Mike Adams.
He's coming on. He spent 25 years. He's still got a house an hour and a half down the road from where I'm sitting.
I'll tell you what's bizarre. I was doing some sessions with Johnny Graham from Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, Osaka.
Mike said, I used to live with him. I was like,
sure. Johnny was in Osaka playing, man.
He's in Osaka.
Yeah, bad dude. And wow, yeah, man. A lot of people came through here, man. And so, which put me in the record business. I have a label. First black record company in Japan I established 38 years ago, man. And
in Japan?
Yes, sir. Still Toetown Records. My company is Toetown Communications Company Limited, and we have the Toetown Group of other small enterprises under that umbrella. But the first entity, the first
on the TV show. Can they see me? She's like, can they see me? I would guess if you look behind you.
Tell her. I don't tell, but I see everything. You've been on the air for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I've been on the air for 5.
I'm telling she's been on the air for 5 minutes.
Oh, no.
I got to zoom in.
A hair salon. I got a hair salon.
Is that right? Hey, nothing wrong with that. You don't do hair.
Musician.
Is that your spouse, your significant other?
It's my significant other, yes. She doesn't want to be on camera though, so
that's okay. Tell her there'll come a day.
Mm-hmm. But I was surprised that Mike knew Johnny Graham. Well, I'm not surprised that Mike knew Johnny Graham. I was surprised that they knew each other so well.
Well, listen, Mike came and I recruited Mike. Mike had the ETC band, man, in Omaha that was regionally prominent.
They were the baby band to Man vs. Man. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I know that history. And those cats came. They got on a military tour doing the bases and stuff, and ended up at the Yokota Air Force Base outside of Tokyo. And that's where they messed up. Why did they do that? I got the call. Man, we're coming to town, man. Okay. I'm there. I went out and picked them up in my van, drove them in town, took them straight to the funk joint in downtown Tokyo. Live music house. And the owner was a friend of mine. I said, man, I got a band. My nephew's band. Can we?
Jeez.
No worries.
But now, did you ever run across Walter McKinney or a Rolls Royce when they were out there?
Yes, stop it, man. What are you stop it. I ain't got
Walter was a guitar player. Walter was a guitar player with Man vs. Man, and then Lester Abrams and them took him and put him in L.A. Carnival, it was L.A. Carnival
or Kraken, one of them.
No, it was L.A. Carnival.
L.A. Carnival, okay.
may have been cracking. It was like in that time, you know.
Both good bands, man. But what that boy walked up with me in the club, in that very club I'm telling you, I
Wow.
took ETC to. Of course, that's the joint when all musicians came and played. Then they'd end up there. That's where the Black Music Funk House was. But that was later. My nephew Mike, who's my older brother Mike's first son. I got a 13-year gap on him, so he's like my little brother, and I'm his young uncle, you know.
Okay.
So I brought him over early in his career, man, and I put him to work in the company because I had left CNN and open shop, set up shop, based on what I had acquired from Omaha
Absolutely.
days to establishing CNN in Japan. After that contract was over, I said, it's time to set up shop. Let me send some invoices for what I do, you know. And we did that. I built the company, and Mike came over and joined the company. The lead vocalist followed him a year later, T Love. You know T Love?
Of course.
Of course.
Actually, James Boone was producing him on some tracks. I have a record that James Boone wrote for him, for is Gary, right?
Right,
Is
yeah,
that
yeah. Yeah, but I got a joke about that. Why he didn't use that name in Japan, because it means something else. If you pronounce Japanese could pronounce it, giri. It means how can I say this? Diarrhea.
Oh,
So
get out of here.
when Tila found that out, he
That's
said,
funny.
ain't that funny? That's the first time I've
That
told
is
this
funny.
publicly, man. But they were calling it, oh, giddy. And
You
he
know,
caught on. He caught on to
that
the joke.
reminds me. That reminds me of, see, when there is a language barrier or even a slang thing where people don't realize what they're saying. Like I was in a band back in the day with a guy named Art Capehart. Art Capehart, I met him because he was with Joe Frazier in the Knockouts.
Oh
And he
my
was
God!
colored.
Wait! Please, every time you say something, I got a story for him, man. Listen, Joe Frazier came and knocked out Ron Stander in Omaha.
Yeah, sure. Everybody knocked Grand
And I
Standard
was
out.
with Joe. Harold Dow and I took Joe to do a gig he was booked for out in West Omaha. I forget the name of the club. 72nd Street. And with his nose singing ass.
Oh man, horrible.
It was terrible. And but yeah, you mentioned that band name. That's just another story in the day life of
That's
Omaha, man.
terrible.
Now
He was the
now we got
worst.
arguably the baddest pound for pound in brother Crawford. Terrence
Crawford.
Crawford. Ain't he bad?
Yeah.
Love the guy.
Excellent fighter.
Yeah,
He's
man.
gonna last a while. He's got a nice
I
future ahead
hope
of him.
I hope so. He's got a fight
Yeah.
coming up in November that's going to be good for him. But when I was there, my nephew Mike took me around to his gym. I wanted to interview him. I tried to sneak up on him and get him like I did you, get an interview at the gym. You know what I'm saying? But it was closed. There was some noise in there, and he's got a Colorado residence where he does his training, his camp
Okay.
in Colorado Springs, I think, something like that. That's we digress again. But yeah, I mentioned T Love and the band, so I went and picked him up out of the base, drove him down to the club, and they did that Omaha funk on the Tokyo community. All of them lined up in the back. Some of the musicians were on stage. They kicked it off, and the front line guys, the horn players and the vocals, did their Omaha stomp walk
Oh
up
yeah.
to the stage. You know? And the people are like, "Oh, what?
What's going
They
on?
for real, right? They got this together."
Yeah.
And the owner told me, he said, this band too funky for this club.
Ooh,
yeah, he couldn't.
that's funny.
I wanted him to book him, for a 3-month contract. He said, too funky for this club. He said,
What's such a thing as too funky?
overkill.
Over fun.
People would be afraid to come for fear that they'd be charged too much. And that's what, of course.
Man, we used to do stuff with Man versus Man, like play dead on the stage. We were doing all
Oh, okay.
we were stupid.
Speaking of Norman Love, somebody told me that when he and Richie used to play with one of the local bands, don't know which one, those clowns would do all kind of antics and stuff, run around in the room playing and then jump back. I wish I could have seen that, but from the personality, I can understand how that went down.
Well, Man versus Man kind of ushered in that crazy Parliament thing. you know, people used to think we wrote the Tower Power songs because we were the first to play. Like you're still. Remember when people used to come to town, they would have records. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like now everything comes out at the same time everywhere. But
No.
back in the day, somebody would come to town. They'd be like, "Hey, man, check this out," you know. And so we were the first ones to get on Tower Power.
Okay.
And everybody thought we were Tower Power for a while, you know, with
Yeah,
Lionel
right.
Franklin.
You were identified with that hit.
Yes, we
I
are.
got to start for that. Sorry, it's gonna be like that. Every time you say something, I got to start.
Of course.
But that same thing that you explained, that phenomenon of records, you know, I guess who dropped Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On" in Omaha?
You?
I was in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you another name, Terry Edwards, who's still there. Well, I see
Terry.
he came to my event, and that's my brother. You know, I visited him in Detroit. He was with Pfizer, the Pfizer that we know, the vaccine that they before they. Yeah, man. He was with Pfizer in Detroit. Went to visit him, and Marvin Gaye, "What's Going On" dropped. And it ain't been nowhere else. They drop it in Detroit. Motown would drop there first.
Wow.
So I brought that album home, drove right back home, drove to KLWH, who I used to participate with news on the weekends as a volunteer. I was already employed at the network. Drove it up into the studio, gave it to the rock jock, Irvin McSwain, and said, "Man, play this." And he played it, and the phones lit up, man. That's to speak to what you were just describing. Yeah.
Did you know that the Rhythm Machine's drummer is they call him Funky Buzzard? His name was Dwayne Garvin. He was Marvin Gaye's drummer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, what
happened when the band split up because of the war, and then they said that when they got out of the war, they would reform the band. So when they got back out of the war, they had a drummer called Dwayne Garvin was the drummer then.
For my young Japanese artists who would not know, we're talking about the Vietnam War.
The Vietnam War.
Right.
Well, Dwayne Garvin was their drummer, and he had to go to the war to service. So when he was gone, a drummer named Pork Chop Edwards was the drummer.
Wow.
When Dwayne Garvin came back, they voted Dwayne Garvin out of the band because James Boone decided that he was going to be true to Pork Chop because Pork Chop was the new drummer, basically. Okay. So at that point, Dwayne Garvin was supposed to go to the studio with them and record Freakish Love and What You Gonna Do. But he's like, forget you. If I'm not going to be the drummer, I'm gone. That's when he left and got with Marvin Gaye.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that in California at that time or Detroit?
That was in Indianapolis.
I mean, when he joined Marvin Gaye.
He was in, I don't know, he was in Indianapolis. So that all happened on that side of it.
Okay, sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Preston Love was impresario at that time and conductor and convener and contractor for that band.
Yeah, sure was.
Yeah, man. So,
I knew David I. Remember David I was also the director of the Motown band back. David I, sax player.
Didn't know the man. No, I
mm-hmm.
didn't. No,
his last name is spelled I.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like King I. But
so man, interesting. Tell me about. Let me go back a bit. By the way, you're an admirable artist, man. How did you acquire that expertise? I know people always credit black folks. Man, he got that. They used to say Louis Armstrong was an intuitive genius. No, he studied. Miles Davis told me, he said he quit Juilliard because the teacher, when he first came, he said, black people played the blues because they were depressed and their ancestors were in slavery, and they just had that feeling. And Miles said, he raised his hand and said, listen, my daddy's rich, my mama's good looking. I'll play them D minor sevens because I studied them. And quit school. And went and joined Charlie Parker.
Goodness.
At the 5 Points or whatever that club was, and said he said he wanted to quit Charlie's band every night because he couldn't hang.
Wow. Man, that was a player there, man. I always thought Miles Davis was trying to reduce music to when you go to a Miles Davis concert, I expect him to just go up there and play one note, and it would just be the perfect note.
He could pull it off. Trust me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the only one who can do it.
He complimented me. You know, I mentioned Miles because, not just because I got photos when people are say, "Oh, you met Miles?" No, Miles and I were friends for 15 years. Every time he came to Japan, I toured with him. I put him on CNN, and most of what I exchanged with him was unrecorded, on video. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So
Yeah.
the baddest band I ever saw him with was when Foley was playing lead bass.
Wow.
That was a fucking band. And that sax player, another who am I saying from Detroit,
With Miles,
young brother, but virtual, huh? Bad.
I'm guessing. I don't know.
Kenny
Who?
what?
Jeez.
Kenny
I
Garrett.
don't know.
Kenny Garrett.
Garrett.
Kenny Garrett. Is that the name?
Garrett. Yes. Garrett.
Bad. Yeah, man. He taught himself how to speak Japanese. He'd come on 3 occasions to the Mount Fuji Jazz Festival, and we became buddies, man. That cat was brilliant.
Oh,
He's to this day, he's out there, man. You know, Kenny Garrett, one of the baddest cats ever picked up a horn, man. He'll be known for that posthumously, but I'm telling you right now. So that back to the original question, what spurred that thought is, where did you get your virtuosity, man? How did you education?
Well, this is what I did. When I first started playing, my teacher was Red Higgins. And Red Higgins, he told me, he told me, I don't know what this thing was between Red and Preston Love, but there was always a
Preston Senior, right?
Yes, but I mean, here we go. I don't know. I'm putting this out there, right?
Yeah, just describe it. It's part of history, right?
But there was this thing between Red Higgins and Preston Love, and I do know what it was. But let
me stop you. I'm sorry for me intervening, but let me sequentially tell us who Red Higgins was.
Red Higgins was originally a trumpet player, a jazz trumpet player
from Omaha.
He was playing in Chicago. I don't think Red was from Omaha. He came in from the East Coast way to Omaha.
Okay.
But his daughter, he's James Higgins is his son. I know you know James, Derek Higgins, Adrian Higgins. Okay. Those are Patrick Higgins. Those are the Higgins. Okay. Adrian is an artist at Disney. These are some talented people.
Wow.
Super talented family. But Red Higgins.
Red came to Omaha and settled there. Is that what you're saying?
And settled in Omaha.
Wow.
So, but Red Higgins told me that just play the way you play. He said, don't listen to anything that anybody says, whatever. And
I love that. Sure.
I think he was talking about Preston Love. Preston Love
he would tell you what it is.
Preston Love, every time he'd see me in the audience, he'd call me to the stage. Like, Donald Harris is here in the audience, right? Donald, come on up and play something with us. So I go to the stage, and I'm standing up there, and Preston would be up there for a second. He'd turn around and tell the band, play Bad Mama Jam. And then he'd walk off.
What was that about?
And then when I would leave, after Bad Mama Jam, I'm off the stage. And then he'd say, okay, now Norman, we're going to get Norman up here. We're going to play some real jazz.
Oh, see. Well, trust me, Norman's a chip off the old block, my brother.
But I learned so much from being around Preston that, I appreciate, back how we would rib each other. And that's how we made each other better.
Sure. Yeah, that's not for others to participate in. If you ain't of that, don't go there. You know,
absolutely.
So
when I remember one of our early gigs at Allen's Showcase, and all of a sudden, the guitar got loud, and the keyboard got loud. We turned around, and Buddy Miles and them just crashed the stage on us. And yeah, that's the way they did it back then. You know that. They would just come and just one at a time until it was Buddy Miles' band on the stage.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. You're sitting there as a customer.
Yeah.
Somebody get up and sit down.
Yeah. I mean, if and you knew that you were getting close to being a good enough musician when they stopped doing that to you.
Yeah, when they wouldn't
stopped practicing.
wouldn't come to your chair. Huh?
Yeah. Right. But
That
that's
is
how I learned.
interesting
And then
history, man. That's interesting.
and then, well, like I said, I joined after Man versus Man and a bunch of other bands. I played with Leonard Williams and the Imperials.
Old school, brother.
You remember that guy?
Man, my big brothers, I was a little cat watching them come along. Let's name some names.
Wesley Devereaux,
Stimsy Hunter, Hank Red. Come on.
Yes.
Peter.
But I never played in a band with Stimsy or Hank. I played with Leonard Williams and Richard, with Wesley Devereaux on guitar, and everybody that came through Leonard Williams' band, but basically with Leonard Williams. But then when I went on the road with Rhythm Machine, I came back to Omaha, and then I went and moved to California for like 30 years. So I did a lot of playing in California.
In 30 years?
For 30 years.
Los Angeles, huh?
Los Angeles area. So I got a chance to jam with a lot of cats, man. Robin Russell from New Birth, then some of my highlights.
Sure.
I got to play with a lot of the people that I grew up listening to their music.
Did you do a lot of recording in your career?
I did a lot of recording.
Names.
I have a lot of tracks.
Okay. You lost your lighting wherever you went.
I did. I had to move.
Okay. No
I
problem.
want to move again to a better light.
You're good. There you go. That's right there. That's cool right there.
How about this will be even better?
Yeah. Make yourself comfortable, though. You don't have to stand in the lamp.
Yeah. I'm sitting on the freezer.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
But,
lighting is crucial for video, But
so yeah, I played. Most of my playing was I played a lot of blues in Los Angeles. I played Latin jazz.
Wow.
We got to open for Pancho Sanchez so many times, at least 10 or 15 times. We were the opening band for Pancho Sanchez, and he won a Grammy.
You ever do anything with Sheila E.'s family?
Who?
Sheila E.'s family, her daddy and her brother.
We Escobedo's.
Escobedo family.
Pete Escobedo had a band. Most of the time he had his own band.
Oh,
yeah.
Always kept a band.
Yeah, great stuff, man. Little Joe and La Familia, or whatever. I can't even say it, but yeah, we played a lot of Latin jazz, and so with that, we would open for groups like Dramatics, whoever else was on the show.
Sure.
So many groups. I can't even start to mention so many for all.
So what professionally? Rather than having and leading your own band, you were a session guy, a first call horn player, the kind of cat.
Yes.
In the LA Times, right?
Yeah.
Is that how you made your living?
Right. I got to play with a lot of them guys. That's how I got to be good friends with, like, Billy Nunn is still one of my best friends. I still kind of.
I'm gonna send me a link on him when we get through this interview, man. I really want to know more about him, man. But
awesome history.
Okay. So now, but we jumped. You were talking about Red Higgins, and I was asking about your training, your education. So, tell me how you
actually write. I would actually write all the horn parts without writing, without.
Recrop yourself, your camera. Can you see your chin? There you go. That's cool. Right there.
I would actually come up with all the horn parts, like for the Rhythm Machine album. I would make the horn part. I could do it really quickly, because I just heard the music in my head. So. Okay,
that's what I'm getting at. It was in you.
It was in me, like.
But
my brothers played.
Didn't you have to read score?
I was in dance band and jazz band and all that
at Central. Right? Come on, see you.
But so I couldn't read. I couldn't read.
Okay. But to arrange, I just assumed to arrange you would have had to be able to read, but you just knew the patterns, right?
When they play something, I could play it. The next time, so we rehearse it. So they go through the song, and the second time through, I could play whatever they just played as far as the jazz thing.
See, that's that intuitive stuff the white folk. He's an uneducated musician.
What though? I went back and I started taking music classes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
when I moved to Los Angeles, I realized that there was a benefit in actually knowing what you're doing.
Sure, you're
So,
right. I did it
so
the other way.
I
I'm studying that book, man, because I didn't have it intuitively. I had to go back. Oh, so in playing the piano, you play piano a little bit, don't you?
I can play piano. I'm theoretically okay. I know what I'm doing on the
See,
piano.
I had to get theoretically okay in order to do what I wanted to do on that piano. I had to know them chords and the fingering for that. Once I got there, man, I never progressed because I was satisfied. I could play a tune, and I'm not reading the charts. I'm reading, oh, that's a A minor 7. Oh, so I could do that, and it would come out. Oh, okay, come on. You can't
You were
tell
a
me.
Japanese musician, like you were saying.
Yes, sir, brother.
But they
Roboto.
are so musically sound that they can take and they can listen to what you're doing, and they can do it like no one else in the world.
Apply it to that theory, that knowledge that you talked about, like a factory machine, roboto, and make it happen.
That wall, I hit that wall, and I hit it the first time, and that wall is when you're doing something and you start boring yourself.
Sure,
you start saying, whoa, or you get locked up a thing where you just keep doing the same licks over and over.
No,
and
you can't do that.
I hit that wall, man, and I wanted to get beyond that wall.
You had too much in you creatively.
Yeah. It's one thing to do it, and it's another thing to know what you're doing and do it again. So I wanted to do it again. So I figured out what I was doing so I could do it again.
That's
so I got to where I could write it out.
Did you
now I have the ability to chart out the entire arrangements for Chuck Miller helped me too.
Oh my God, his name just keeps coming up, brother. Every time I talk to him, I'm like, what an icon. Chuck Miller. He was a bad dude, huh?
Chuck Miller was a giving person, musically giving. Probably one of the most musically giving here.
He mentored a lot of cats, man.
Yes. The relationship I had with Chuck was more of that a band member kind of thing. He wrote out a circle of fifths thing for me to practice, and he'll give you something. He'll be listening to you play, and he'll sit down and jot something down and hand it to you. Say, take this and practice it.
And I'm still struggling with circle of fifths, because if you go to the left, it's circle of fourths, ain't it?
Right, it's a fourth. Some people call it a circle of fourths.
Dizzy Gillespie told me, but I said, circle of fourths, bro. I studied circle of fifths. He said, well, it's just the way you're going around the circle. I said, I had to go back home and look that up. What?
It is. Okay. Well, you know why, Mal? Everything equals 9. So that's
don't you let me get my pencil, brother, because whatever you tell me now, I'm getting ready to go play.
Everything equals 9.
And what do you mean by that?
That means if you go up a major 6 or down a major 6 or down a minor third, it's going to be 9. Everything that you do is going to equal 9. It'll balance out as 9 when you're your relative minor and your major key. 6, 8.
You lost.
Okay, your relative minor is 6. If you got to go up from your C, say your relative minor of C is A minor, C major, A minor. So it's a major 6 up or a minor 6 down. I mean minor third down. It's 9.
Okay.
So anyway.
All right, but those are nice things to know for performing cats. I will do a video.
Let me tell you another thing.
I'm picking your brain for me now. I forgot I got an audience watching this. I'm picking your brain.
I'm going to bore them.
Well, I got you. No, you're not. Because I'm going to edit this video and insert a picture of me talking about ain't no shame in my game. I'm fixing to do this. As taught by Don Harris.
But though, it's music is a beautiful thing, and it's an excellent. It redeems you a lot of times, and you don't ever know what your music does for someone. And this is it's fulfilling to me as an artist, as a member of Rhythm Machine. Like when we went to London, right, to headline a festival, who would think that was possible some 40 years after your project had been released. You know.
Sure. Interesting. Wow. That's deep. Yeah. That's deep. Well, it's like my business, communications, man. Whatever you expressing yourself musically, I express myself verbally and emotionally, but the end result is the same. Somebody
It's the
listening
same.
will gain something from it, extract
Yeah.
something from it that you may not have intended anyway. But as long as you
Yeah.
stick true to your training and your feeling, right? The same thing applies for me, which is why I called you now, because something you said made me say, I want to jam with this brother. So,
Yeah.
Miles Davis paid me I'll send you a video. Miles paid me a dear compliment. I interviewed him several times over 15 years. Arguably the largest collection of man-to-man interviews with Miles. A lot of it had
Wow,
been
man.
published, but I've
Beautiful.
extracted and posted certain things. But he told me one day, he said, Mal, you should have been a musician. I said, why is that, man? He said, because you listen. And I had to think about what he was saying. He says, okay, because if you're in an ensemble with some cats, you ain't playing nothing unless you're hearing what he's playing.
That's right.
Is it true?
That's where a lot of jazz musicians, in my opinion, fall short of the mark. Is that they don't actually listen to the music that's playing.
Running their
They play
mouths
what they're
themselves.
playing. They're concentrating on
What they trying to say.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
In funk, we can't do that.
Without saying what's being said.
Well, they're
With the
instead of
group.
hearing the message, they are they're like talking like
Focus on the
how do I
phrase.
put this? Right. I'm expressing myself, whereas we should be expressing as a band
Absolutely.
to relate to the people.
Sure.
Because we can lose them
Absolutely.
by
individualizing.
right.
Yeah.
By focusing on me.
Sure, you're right.
I can lose you.
Miles hated that, man. He said, you better listen to what we're doing up here, you know, saying and contribute. If you got something to contribute to that, speak to that, you know. Very interesting, man. Yeah, bro.
Man.
Wow. So now, before we started this conversation, something you sent to me, I was asking you, had you lived in London? Were you performing?
No, we were
That was
just
a
there
tour.
for the festival that we headlined.
And what year was it?
Hook and Sling Funk Festival or Funk
So,
Weekender. They call it the Funk Weekender.
wow.
And
Now,
that
where
was
were
in
you when you got booked for that?
Where was I? Was in Omaha, and then I had to round all the guys up that I hadn't seen for 40 years.
What? So when did this go down? What year?
2018, July of 2018.
The other day. Right. Yesterday.
That's basically the other day. We didn't even know each other. It's like, who are you, right?
Oh, no. So now, give me the specifics. Backtrack. This was a project you were called based on a project you had done 40 years prior?
Yeah, in 76, Rhythm Machine released the Rhythm Machine album. And from that album, the song, like, for example, Put a Smile on Time was on the video game Saints Row 2. That video game sold $500 million.
You see? What?
Yeah.
How about the residuals, brother? That's why you retired.
How much did I get?
That's why you retired and living large in a house on the hill in Omaha.
Oh yeah, that's why. Yeah.
How much did you get, man?
You were like, I don't know, not enough.
Evidently, not enough, right?
No, that's why I'm in the hallway sitting on the freezer.
Yeah, talking to me.
Right.
And I'm sitting in my dining room with a green.
Yeah, with that phony background there.
Yeah.
Right?
It ain't fake, that's real, brother.
Oh, okay.
It's just in
your backyard.
It's in there. That's my yard.
Oh,
But
yeah.
here's some reality associated with that. I can actually see Mount Fuji from my veranda of this flat I'm in on a clear day.
I'm trying to give you a white background so you can change it. So you can give me a backyard like that.
Yeah, right. Well, I got some cartoon characters I can probably if you like. But this really I'm just trying to suggest where I'm coming to you from, bro. But that's really what you see when you come over here. When the pandemic is expired, then maybe we can get back to tour.
I will. That's a promise, man. I'm gonna be there.
What? We're gonna put something together, man, and bring all the cats. I want you, Norman, all the cats on one stage.
Man.
Mike,
you know what? We'll try not to be over funky. We'll try not to be too funky. We want to hang around. We don't want to come back home.
Listen. I might have you sending for your stuff, brother. It's like
Well,
that. I had a
man,
nephew who spent 30 years with me, came over one day. You know what I'm saying?
30 years from now, I don't know.
Hey, might as well
That's a
plan
long
on it.
time. 30,
I precede you. I'm 72 years old. I figure I got 20 good years left to
well,
do.
then 30 years. That's right. That's right. That's the way to look at it.
Yeah.
I'm in good health.
So you're like 50.
50. Does that look like 50?
You
No,
premature.
I'm 60. I'm 66, man.
Premature grand.
Premature, right? 66.
Yeah. That's a good middle age, brother.
I actually dyed white.
Yeah, I know.
You do too?
Yeah, I pay. You see, I got a little black still
This
left in it.
is the look we're going
I
for.
just dab it.
Yeah, that's what we're trying. I bleach it.
Yeah, you sure do, because that's pure white right there.
Right. I don't want to get my mustache, so you do that. Because my lip will be white.
And that's too much like blackface, so we don't want to go there.
Man.
Wow. Well, brother, listen. Let's make the transition. I just invite you to be a regular contributor. Let's talk more jazz and music for my Japanese viewers. And we're I'm not streaming live now because we didn't know what it was going to be. This is kind of rehearsal, but it's good enough for me to publish, and I will turn it around within the hour, and it'll be on my Facebook page with my titles and stuff. And do you have a bio handy on file?
You can look up my. I did an interview for Funky 16 Corners.
Send me the link on Messenger so that I can extract some stuff, because I'll just and post that. I'll post that on the description to the video, and it'll be on my YouTube channel. And I'm gonna invite people, if you like it, and subscribe. So I'm monetized, so this is my job, and I'm retired.
That's all good, man. I'm gonna even send you some money.
Yeah, appreciate you, brother. Well, they got this new thing which I'm not hip to yet. It's called Patreon or something like that. So
wow.
People will donate. Click on PayPal and donate $5 or something. You know, YouTube's got a chat.
$5.
Yeah, right. That won't get in Japan. That won't get you. You know, so you can't get a cup of tea for $5.
You know what? We'll say we'll invest in some new backgrounds for me or something.
Yeah, and some lighting.
And some lights. That'll do it.
Well,
gotta get those phones ringing.
Right. Well, before we digress too much and lose the flow and the import of what you've shared so far, I'm going to end this segment of Rap About It with Mal Adams and my dear, profound guest, Don Harris. It's just been a joy kicking it with you, man, spontaneously. I feel like I was on a jam session right now.
Sitting at that table, man. Remember how we used to sit at that table just laughing and laughing? I'm like,
oh, my God. Absolutely. That's what it is. That's what this show is about, man. I talk to people I know. And
you're a great part of history here and everywhere, you know, and we're proud of you. And keep it up, man. And we appreciate you.
I appreciate it, man. May I be honest with you? The reason I have this show and interview people is because I'm fishing for compliments from people that I know.
I know. I read the one you gave me. So is that all right?
You read it well too, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, but what you just said, I told Preston the same thing. He praised me for my career, brother. I said, man, that's why I put you on, so you could tell my story. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit down and write no book, no autobiography.
Mal, did you do anything? You know, Leo Knott was. We hung out a lot when he was in California. You know, he was at K-Day and KJLH. You remember Leo Knott?
Man, I remember Leo the Lover. Is that him?
I don't know.
No? Okay. Was he a DJ?
DJ.
For KJLH.
He was at KLWH.
KOWH, Omaha.
Omaha, and he went to California and was with K-Day and with KJLH TV
Oh,
station.
okay, I may recall him from Omaha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And did you you were with him when
Oh,
you were in California?
They used to, when we had a song out called "Shake That Body Music" that went to number 13 in Los Angeles, and he was big on Greg Mack. It was playing right along with all those rap songs, you know, and
Wow.
"Let's Go Crazy" by Prince. So
Wow.
my song would come on, and Prince's song would come on. Man, talking about a good feeling.
Wow. See,
Yeah.
radio, baby, radio.
Yeah.
Crucial for the business.
Record Day.
Yeah.
Nobody know nothing about Record Day.
See.
I'm dating myself.
Great times in Los Angeles. You know, I spent 10 years there before I came to Japan, man.
Wow. Hey.
At KTTV, Channel 11.
Love it.
The fourth Lobuk station, you know, which it became Fox. Rupert Murdoch from Las Vegas, Australia came in and bought that small network. It was a 10-channel network owned by a guy named Kluge on Van Ness and Sunset up there somewhere.
Wow, man! I'm in Hollywood.
Yeah, man. I was 5 minutes drive to work. I had a nice house on Beechwood Drive there. And my two older kids were born there, man, and I just kind of hit that glass ceiling and wanted more. So my first wife and my second wife were Japanese. So I married a Japanese lady.
Was it the same person?
No.
Oh.
Far removed. I had a 10-year gap.
Oh.
But I met her at Hollywood High School when I went in there. Harold Dow had moved out and got with the network, so I came out and he let me hang with him better part of a year until I got on with Channel 11, and I turned them out a weekend anchor and a political reporter and stuff. So I'm right there. Brian Gumble, Connie Chung, and all them names. And I used to kick their butts in the field because I'm from Omaha. That's all we knew.
Good. Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Know how to do it.
Yeah, I didn't take the 6 figures and went to the network and didn't do no more work, just talk. No, they were news actors. I was that field reporter, field.
You're the one out there in the trenches,
knocking them down, elbowing them out my way.
Get out of my way! I have a report to do.
Man, I used to dog Brian Gumble out like that. He thought because he was, you know, no, man, I'm from Channel 11, brother. We're the 4th rated station, and this is my interview. Connie Chung, all of them. So that's how I cut my feet, and then went to CBS Tokyo, and the rest is history. Never came back, man. 40,
they told me a long time ago that when you go to Japan, you'll never want to come back home. That's what they always tell me.
I didn't want to come back home to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, brother. But my nephew told me, he said, man, look, you know, it's going to be nice. You need to come. I tried to do it virtually like we're doing. They said, no, you got to come to get your award. I said, well, it's too important for my legacy. Let me go smell my flowers. And
we have Mal Adams here.
He's coming.
Everybody look at the screen.
Yeah, he's the guy in front of Mount Fuji.
And that's his backyard.
And that's boy, see, get out my head. You already know what it is. That's where I live, y'all.
I don't see anything happening back there. But
ain't nobody. Don't see nobody picking tea. I
don't see anything moving.
It's the weekend.
Oh.
That's how. It's my people, you know.
Yeah, maybe it's just your backyard's so big. You can't really see the little thing.
That's right. It's getting a little breezy out here now, so I'm gonna go on and end this show. I gotta get back inside.
All right, yeah.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much for cooperating on the spur of the moment, man. It's great. You're a great artist, brother, and let's keep sharing stories here, man. Because
thanks for this invite.
Yeah, man, no problem. And again, we'll do it again. I'll hit you up. I'll give you some advance notice. Right. Okay. But by all means, send me that link for your bio info, and I'll post-produce this, and I think you'll enjoy it. Okay?
Thank you very much.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Take care. All right.
All right, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this edition of Rap About It with Mal Adams.
Japan Journal, the Internet's #1 English language weekly online cybercast from Japan. Japan Journal with Mal Adams.
Rap About It with Mal Adams. Each week, Rap About It focuses on a key issue concerning American minorities. This series also explores current and topical news events in an effort to bring into sharper focus the implications of these events for the minority community. And now your host, Mal Adams.